comments and say hello. And thank you for joining us for the ATD San Diego chapter's Get Good with Articulate Storyline. I'm John Morley. I'm an instructional designer and external consultant. So if I can help you with a project, my email address is in the chat window. That sounds good. Well, that's me. Who are you? If you would please take a moment to enter your name into the chat window along with where you're logging in from. And if you'd like to network with other participants, adding your email address would make that a whole lot easier. Now, you have the option of clicking along tonight. I'm going to go kind of slow so everybody can see how this works and try it out themselves. And if you do not yet have a copy of a storyline, there is a link in the chat window now that will let you download a free copy, free to use for 30 days anyway. Okay, now just in time for some words from our hosting organizations here. Okay, this time, next week, next Thursday, ATD San Diego is having an actual networking live meeting here, folks. Remember those? Actual human beings at the Stone Brewing place in Liberty Station. Liberty Station is a very nice place, and what's not to like about Stone Brewing Company? On June 4th, Will Thalheimer, that's the correct pronunciation, not Thalheimer, it's Thalheimer. He's going to be sponsored by ISPI SoCal, talking about building a competitive advantage with learning, a new opportunity. Will, very sharp guy. He speaks at a lot of conferences, does a lot of writing. He's also a very nice guy. I've met him. Be very worthwhile to hear what he has to say on June 4th. This is a lunch and learn kind of thing at noon. The following Friday, June 7th, ATD and ISBI jointly host a roundtable. This time we will be talking about initial considerations for DEI pedagogy. It will be facilitated by Rob Poosh. Rob is a board member for ISB SoCal. Nice guy. I think he'll do a very good job. Get Good with Articulate Storyline is taking off for the summer, but in August we're going to come back big time. We're going to have as a guest speaker Josh Cavalier. If you know Josh Cavalier, you know that Josh Cavalier knows artificial intelligence. He's a very well-respected consultant in this area. He speaks at conferences, also a writer, so it'd be worth your time to log in. That's August 15th, again, the third Thursday of the month, to hear Josh Cavalier tell us a lot of stuff about artificial intelligence. Now, tonight, I am very fortunate to have with me as a co-host, and I would like to thank Kevin Storm Jorgensen, who is a past and hopefully future guest speaker. Kevin is a senior lecturer at San Diego State University in learning design and technology. His rather impressive client list includes HCL America, General Dynamics, UPS, and many others, and he's currently working with Scientific Research Corporation. He has a rich background in video, film, and television at Hollywood Reporter, and Kevin has evolved his expertise to work extensively in virtual reality and AI tools. He spoke a couple months ago on AI. It was one of our very best workshops. And he often appears as an avatar, but rest assured, he is in fact an actual real person. So we will now discover how he will appear tonight as I ask Kevin, would you like to say hi?
Yes, hello everybody, welcome. And yes, I'm a real boy, really. No, so yeah, this is VR. I'm in a VR headset, and this is my office and studio. But yeah, I find it much easier to work here in VR as my avatar, because I get a lot more screens to see. It's a lot more comfortable, and I don't have to wearing pants, so I'm good here.
Okay, well, thank you, Kevin. I certainly appreciate you making sure the stragglers get admitted here. Oh, well, Alicia is yet to be admitted. If you could,
yep, I got her.
Okay, let Alicia in. All right. Well, no one knows everything about storyline, especially me. But tonight I'm sharing what I do know. And please chime in if I need to be corrected on anything or if you just have questions or comments. I would much rather be a guide on the side than a sage on the stage. If you're clicking along on storyline, now would be a good time to fire up the application so you will be ready when it is time to be ready. Now, this is what I have lined up to go over this evening. See how much we can get through here in the time available. To its credit, Articulate continues adding new characters, and here are two of the newest.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm easy to relate to for anyone working in a cafe, casual dining, or retail.
Hello, I'm Teresa. Wearing dark blue scrubs and comfortable sneakers, I'm ready to walk and talk through any medical setting.
Okay, in this shiny new world of AI, these may seem a bit primitive, but they may be quicker to use than having to write prompts for AI or trying to clean up AI output. And there is an engineering concept of good enough for what it is. This is training. Learners are much more, they get more value out of content than production value. Now, if you are doing a portfolio piece or a entry into a e-learning challenge, sure, pour on all the AI you possibly can. But if the time and deadline are a little cramped, this might be more than adequate for what you're doing. Here are several other characters who have been added to storyline in just the past year. Sometimes you want your animations to repeat, such as smoke going up, rain coming down, maybe uh, waves lapping on the shore, or sometimes you might just want some activity going on in the background to add some visual interest. Now, in the past, I've done some very convoluted things to try to create this, when in actuality, it can be done very easily with just two triggers. So let's fire up storyline and we will see how that is done. If you're clicking along,
Funny, I just had to deal with this last night, this exact thing.
you are in the right place, my friend.
Yeah. Trying to
All
create a
right.
button that pops out that says, "Hey, click me," and that emphasize animation, and it would only do it once unless I did the trick that you're just about to show, and I got it to work that same way.
Oh man, we are all about buttons this evening. Let me tell you. Okay, let's go up into the upper left-hand corner and click New Project. Let's have a new project here. Okay, now let's double-click this slide to get going, and let's add something to move around the screen. So I will go up to the insert menu here, go to illustrations, and how about a horse? Horses tend to move around, so I'll press enter and see what we have in the horse area. And let's see, rather than a horse, let's use a unicorn. This is all fictitious tonight. We will scale him down a little bit. And now let's have our Mr. Unicorn move around the screen a little bit. We'll go up to insert. Excuse me. We'll go to animations. That's what we want to do. Animations, and over here, add a motion path. Clicking the downward area, you see freeform here. So let's try that, and we will move Mr. Unicorn around the screen, give him a little bit of a path here so we can make sure he's moving. At the end of the path, we double click. Now I'm pressing the arrows a little bit to try to make sure he starts and ends in about the same place. So let's allow that to take about 5 seconds. And this will be a little smoother if we give it, in terms of speed, let's slow him down a little bit. And best practice is to give the path a meaningful name. So I'll delete what's there and just call this unicorn path.
I think it's important to note that faster the duration, the faster it'll move. So if you had it at 2 seconds, he would whip around there like a racehorse. But if you did it like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, it would be a very, very slow trot. So use the time to adjust the speed of the animation.
Well, as Kevin just explained, 5 seconds looks about like this. And it's a little jerky going through the middle. So let's see what we can do about that. But first, let me follow some best practices here. And I'll click on that. And down here in the timeline, we will give this a meaningful name. I will call this I for illustration dash unicorn. And we will save this to hard drive. Control S to save. And just put this up on the desktop and call it Sandbox. It's fun to play in the sandbox. And here we go. Now, as I demonstrated earlier, this was a little choppy, a little rapid going around and around. And the way to minimize that a little bit is to go up here on path options. Don't know why this works, but if you go to direction and click none, this is going to work a little bit more smoothly. Let's see how this works, how this looks. Around and around he goes. So that's a little bit nicer look. So we have one. Now let's see what it will take to get another, to keep this thing moving. Now notice that Storyline has automatically created a trigger for us. Thank you, Storyline. We appreciate that. To go around once. So let's click that, go up here to the toolbar and copy that, and then paste it, and then double click this second. And the trigger asks a minimum of 3 questions. Do what, with what, when. Do what is move, with what the illustration of the unicorn. When, not when the timeline starts, but when the animation completes, and that would be the iUnicorn animation. So that's all that it takes. Let's.
It feels like you're a dog. You're setting a dog to chase its own tail here.
Well, let's see what it looks like. I'll go up to,
or in this case, a unicorn chasing its own horn.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Let's see how this looks. Okay, round and around he goes. And again, for as much patience as you could possibly attach to this, he will go around and around forever and ever.
Now, this doesn't inhibit any other triggers from applying. Like, let's say we wanted to click on something else on the screen to have some other effect, or maybe like have a button that'll stop the trigger. Is that something that's possible to do or is that one trigger that's constantly looping, kind of dominating over everything else?
I'm glad you asked. Let's create a button here. Uh-oh, I think I did something bad. Nope, I still have the animation there. So I'll go to home and I will go up here to insert, create a button. And let's have the button insert something. We'll go up and insert a photo. Let's just type in house. Oh, we could put a horse picture in there. Let's do that. And now we will make the horse, make the state of the horse hidden. And then we will call this button show. Give that a meaningful name. Okay. B for show horse. Let's see. And over here for a trigger, we will create do what, change the state of the horse, picture 1, to normal when the user clicks the button. So let's see what that does. Okay, because the horse illustration was hidden initially, we don't see it. Now we're going round and round. When we click the show button, there it is. So we can have multiple triggers going on at the same time. Okay, thanks for suggesting that, Kevin. Much appreciated. Now, what else is on my list here? We're talking about animations. And while we're talking about animations here, something fairly new up here is emphasis animations. And let's create a new slide. We will just go up to Home, click New Slide, and we will put in a shape. Go up to Insert, Insert Shape, and just select any old shape that you would want to see. We'll put a little happy face in here because we're having a good time. Now, when you click Animations, look at this downward pointing arrow. You have 5 different things you can select. So you can have the animation pulse, and you can even stack these up. You can make it pulse and grow. Over here, notice that it in its expansive generosity storyline has created automatically these triggers for you. So when the user clicks, you can see this animation. So let's give that a try.
And just in case anybody is curious, this is a new feature. These emphasis animations are a new feature this year to Storyline. It was added, I believe, in mid-January. So yeah, this is going to be kind of it's something that everybody's been asking for some time. You know, we have these emphasis options available in PowerPoint, and we had to make them in using kind of unusual methods to do the same sort of thing, but Articulate has now just added it as a feature into Storyline. It's going to make our lives a lot easier.
And oh man, if you're Articulate, you can't let you can't let PowerPoint have something that Storyline doesn't. So we're going to click this and look at that. It grows when it's clicked, and it's evidently not going, oh, there we go. Okay. Now, because there are so many of these, 5, and a number of different ways to apply them, I decided to do a little bit of a study on this. And let's see, where did my...
You know, I'm going to say, John, that the button click grow thing sounds like a really cool feature to give, or really good thing to do to give users the knowledge that when they click on a button, it actually did something. Because that's something I hear from people, is that if you don't have some type of interactivity or emphasis or something to happen when somebody clicks on a button that isn't obvious, then they may not know they clicked on it. So having those sorts of emphasis trigger on a click really gives that feedback mechanism to the users.
Exactly. And thank you for the segue, because here we have all 5 of those laid out here. That's what a pulse looks like. That's what a shake looks like. That's what a teeter looks like. We grow, and we also shrink and get very small. And as I demonstrate, now let me point out that shake and teeter look very similar to me, but they are differentiated. Now you can stack them up, as I showed earlier. Here is pulse and teeter, and then here is pulse and grow, and here is shake and shrink. here is teeter and grow, and here is grow and teeter. So demonstrating here that you saw in the storyline that this could be in different orders. Doesn't make any difference which one comes first or second. They all look the same. So teeter and grow looks identical to grow and teeter. And these emphasis animations can be applied to any state. Here on these three, we have an example of pulse and teeter on the hover and then grow on the click. Here we have grow on the mouse over and teeter on the click. Here we have pulse on the mouse over and grow on the click. So number of different ways that these can be applied. Let's take a look at a few of them and see how this works out. On this one, we will pulse and grow. And I want to point out that let's add a few more.
Holly has a question in the chat that you can maybe cover at some point. Is there a way to do this emphasis during the timeline? Yeah, how do these emphases affect the timeline, and where are they? Do they appear there? How is their interaction with that?
I would go over here. Well, that is a really good question.
May I speak? I don't know if that's
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is like if you were talking about something, you're like, and this makes people very happy. And what I've noticed is that when I do the animation, and that doesn't work obviously because in and out for the animation. But would it be the timeline reaches and then whatever point that is on the timeline? So like 22 seconds or 22.5. Is that the way that it would work? Is when the timeline reaches and then the whatever number it is?
You could do that, but you can also do cue points. You can add a cue point on a timeline and then have that be the triggering mechanism. When the timeline hits that cue, that's when the emphasis occurs. So yeah. Then you just have that action, that item, that asset on the screen go across the entire timeline or wherever it's appearing. And then once it hits that cue point, that's when the trigger hits. The trigger starts.
Okay.
That was such a good suggestion. Look at this trigger, if you would. I've set it up so we're going to emphasize the smiley face here with a pulse when the timeline reaches 2 seconds. So let's see if
it's seconds. You can do it just for seconds as well, or adding the cue point, whichever you like on that.
Exactly. So let's see what happens. 1 second, 2 seconds. Oh, look at that. Yes. Good suggestion there. Okay, we can make these things happen at any time. What I was about to demonstrate is let's insert a few more of these shapes here. Okay. Whoops. Why am I not able to do that? Okay. I'll copy that. I'm doing a Control-C, Control-V, Control-V, Control-V. Let's move that guy over here. And let me point out that when you go up to go to the home ribbon, and you see you have a format painter here. And if you change this, go over to animation, look what happens. Now you have an animation painter. And tip here, not hidden very well. Below this, you can read the copy that says double click this button to apply the same animation to multiple shapes. So let me click it twice. Well, I should have selected this guy first. Okay, now he's selected. Now I'm going up to double click. We see the paintbrush here, and we'll paint him. Paint that guy, paint that guy. Whoops. Well,
and just to let you know, John, it looks like when the screen is zoomed in, your mouse is not matching where you're clicking. I think it's just how we're viewing it. But for everybody else, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like a couple inches off where you're actually clicking.
Let's not do that then. I'll use this thing here that shows where I'm
There you go.
clicking.
Yep, that works.
So that works better. Okay, so again, I will copy him, go up to Animation Painter, and we should be, why am I not, there we go. It does not seem to be allowing me to do this multiple times. Again, select that, and go up here to Animation Painter, double click. There we go. Now we should be seeing, notice over here that we see the object, the trigger for the grow on one object, but we don't see it for anything else here. So let's take a look at how this works. And we see a emphasis there, but we see absolutely nothing here.
Yeah.
It does not work, even though we're seeing the little stars up here.
Yeah, I believe the animation painter adds the animation but does not add the trigger. So you would have to manually set the trigger. But now within the trigger options, you will have emphasis on those varying smiley faces 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right. We'd have to go over here and do that. I would think, I would hope that this works, and it's not working to undo. Okay, I have a ticket into to articulate that they haven't responded yet, and I don't think this is working quite. Certainly wasn't working the way I expected, but it should. They're going to let me know if this is the way it is supposed to work or it's not supposed to work. Okay. No. Also, this doesn't work for states either. Let me put a couple. I'm going up here to insert, add. I'll put a button in because that automatically comes in with some states. And notice that when I go up to animation and go to a state, say we're going to edit states, go to hover, and then try to go up. Look, this is all grayed out. So you're not able to add these emphasis animations to the states this way. You have to use the triggers as we were showing before. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't waste your time trying to add this to states down here. Have to do that over here. Okay, now I noticed that the shake and the teeter reminds me of what Macintosh does when you enter an incorrect password. It'll kind of shake like that, or else do something like that, as if somebody's shaking their head back and forth. So I thought this would be a way to, as Kevin, you were kind of mentioning earlier, that this would be a way to tip off the learner what's about to happen. Well, no. If you click that, it both shows you and tells you this is the wrong thing to click, where this one, pulse is a little bit more positive, and there we go. That's good. So this is a way to just a little bit of reinforcement to your learner. So let's take a look at how these sound effects are created. So we'll go back into here and let's create another button.
And John, Dan suggests in the chat that you should try to go back into the states and cut the shape and paste it back in. And that will get that result that you were looking for.
Oh. So I cut the state? You mean delete a state?
Cut the shape and paste it back in.
Okay, I've just
here, John. Yeah, hit edit states.
Now paste it back in.
Yeah, so select one of the states. You want to actually go into the edit state mode.
Edit
All right,
state.
so yeah,
We'll
go to hover
hover.
and now go up, cut that shape, that blue shape that you have on the stage.
It is clicked. And
Yep. So
now
cut it, Control X, Control V to paste it. And so now you have access to the regular animations, but it doesn't look like emphasis animation becomes available.
yeah, this we have over here. We can fade and do things, but the emphasis, yeah, well, that's good to know.
That's a bummer.
Not what we were trying to do, but we know that's a neat trick. Let me try that again. So we'll say done. So we will get rid of that and put a different button in. I'm going up to insert button. Okay, go to state, edit states, go to hover, and try to go up to an animation and look at that. It's grayed out. But if we Control X and then Control V, as if by magic, these things come back in.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you, Daniel.
program it's treating the shape as a new object, right? And
Oh,
so
right. Yeah,
when you're bringing in new objects into a state, for some reason the animation feature becomes available.
yeah. And now we could paste that over here. Okay, let's get moving along here. Yeah, we had some sound effects here. And the sound effects can be done in addition to putting them on the timeline. They can be done, as it says here, in states, or it can also be done in layers. So let's take a look at doing that. Go to storyline, go back to our sandbox. Let's throw another slide in. Go up here to home and click new slide. And let's put two buttons in here again, going up to insert buttons. We will have one, let's call that correct. Make that a little bit larger. Oops. That's the right one. Okay, we'll click him again so we could copy him. Control C, Control V. Make this one incorrect. Best practice is to give this a meaningful name, so we'll call this one B for button hyphen incorrect. Call this one B for button correct. Now we need a sound. You can, if you're clicking along, you can use any kind of sound. You can use music. You can just record something yourself. But what I am going to do is we're going to do this with states first. So let me click a state. We'll start with correct, state for correct. And let's do this for the, I'm clicking edit states here, and we will select hover. And then for correct, we're going to go up here to insert. We're going to insert a here we go. Here in the middle, we're going to insert audio from a file. I have some sound effects here, and these sound effects are in the chat window. If you absolutely don't have any audio to play with, feel free to go up and download that from the link in the chat window. So we're going to add a heavenly choir here for correct. And then for incorrect, and you can see the little speaker pops up there. So we're going to click done. Click done. Yeah, something going on? Okay, we'll edit states again, and we will go into hover, and this time we go up to insert, go over to audio, and we will bring in from a file the wah-wah. And now we see a little loudspeaker pops up there for hover. Let's click done and see how this works using states. Go up here to preview this slide. Wait for the bar to advance, and then are you hearing that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Incorrect, incorrect, correct, incorrect, correct. So any questions so far while we go about this a second way? Okay, let me just, I'll duplicate this and get rid of the states. Okay, no, that somehow didn't come over. Well, that's, oh, okay. Click that and delete it. Now we will click this. So what you can see, there's edit states, hover, nothing up my sleeve, no hidden sound effects here. And now we're going to do this with layers. So down here, we'll create 2 layers. One, oh, we have to get done over here in the states. There we go, done, done. No states, nothing up my sleeve. So down here, we click layer 1, layer 2. We will call this layer correct. And this layer will be incorrect. Now all we do is we click correct here, and we see on the timeline here, nothing. So let's go up to our insert again, just what we did earlier. Go to audio, go to insert. The correct will be the Heavenly Choir. And look down here. We see it on the timeline. Let's shorten this so the timeline ends at the end of the audio. And the same thing for incorrect. We're clicking incorrect down here in the lower right-hand corner, going up to insert, going over to audio, and insert from a file. We do the incorrect wah-wah sound. Now all we need, well, let's shorten the timeline here so it ends at the end of the sound effect. Now all we need is to go back to the slide itself and enter triggers. New trigger, do what with what when. So do what, we want to show a layer. With what, we want to do layer correct. When the user clicks the user clicks what? Okay, user clicks the correct button. Okay, all righty. Now, since we did all that work, let's just reuse it. I am with the trigger selected. I am holding Control and pressing C. And now pressing V. I'm going to double click that. And now, oops, there we go. Okay, show layer incorrect when the user clicks button incorrect. Okay, let's see how that works. And what we have is that sounds right. That sounds right. But look what happens if I click incorrect again. Absolutely nothing. And if I click correct, it happens once and doesn't happen again. what we should be having, every time we click that, we should hear the sound. So what's wrong? And let's go back and take a look at these layers here. Let's go to the correct layer and try doing this. On the triggers, create a new trigger, and rather than showing a layer, we are going to hide a layer, hide this layer when the user clicks. No, let's hide that layer when the timeline ends on this layer. Okay, we will go up here, copy that, and then paste it into this one. And now let's see what happens. We'll preview, go to this slide, and here we go, correct? Okay, every time I click it, I get the sound. All right, any questions about sound effects before we move on to another exciting new feature?
I was going to ask what happens when you click on the button before it finishes its audio, before it finishes its duration?
Absolutely nothing, because once that timeline gets started, you see I'm continuing to click.
So it has to finish the timeline before it can start again.
Right. Now, if you want to get fancy, I think you could probably put something convoluted together where the timeline is stopped if you're counting clicks, and if the click is above one, pause the sound effect or hide the. But normally, it has to complete before you goes again. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, we're talking about audio here, and we have an exciting new feature. I think this is almost as new as the emphasis. Let's go up to insert again and go over to audio, and look what is lurking down on the bottom here, background audio. So in the past, it was impossible to have a music bed that extended over more than one slide, unless you went in. You could do it by writing a JavaScript code, but not normally. So click playlist here.
John, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think Dan has a quick question. I don't know if Dan is able to unmute, but if not,
Daniel,
I can
what you got?
It's all right. No, I was putting my kids to bed, so I'll speak softly.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go back into the slide layer, either correct or incorrect, and then hit the gear icon that appears at the bottom right-hand side, that'll access the layer properties.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the ability to hide a layer when timeline finishes. So that's that third checkbox from the top. So by clicking that, you avoid having to create a trigger.
Oh yeah, that obviates the necessity of doing that. So it's automatically done for you. Thank you for pointing that out. That is.
And then towards the bottom of this dialog window, you get a revisit. Try changing that from automatically to reset.
Yeah, that would be a very good best practice to make sure it's all ready to go again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Let's get rid, which is, that's the correct. So we'll delete that trigger.
I'm curious if it does the same thing.
Try out this slide, and we will click it a bunch of times. Exactly. Yeah, you win the prize for the easy way to do this. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, now another big deal here. We are going to audio, we are going to background audio, and we are creating a playlist. A little arrow down here, green add, and this is audio from a file. And you can use just any old music that you have handy. And I'll have a groovy bass-driven rock and roll, man. Let's be very hip, Daddy-O. Now, as you may take from this, you can create your own playlist, add a number of tunes to this. And down here, there are a number of handy things that you can mess around with. And by default, it does probably about what you want it to do anyway. Fade the tracks in and out between them, loop it, and then if there is a slide that has audio on it, it will lower the volume, whatever percent that you add in here. If it's a video, it'll cut the audio completely until the audio, you go on from the video, the video stops. It will stop the audio for the video, and it will resume the audio after the video. So let's see what this sounds like. Stand by for rock and roll. Okay, I just turned the audio off here. So we're hearing this on one slide. I'm going to continue through the presentation here. Okay, the slides change, but the music continues. So let's slug another slide in here. Go up to a new slide, just click that, and we'll put a video in this one. We will go up to Insert. Over here, we will select a video, and chickens. Let's put a chicken video in here. Now, although these videos do not come with audio, just putting the video in itself is good. Let's put another slide in after this. We will follow up with a couple more slides just for demonstration. We'll click the before slide, the video slide, and the after slide, and let's preview the selected slides. What we should hear is full volume, volume cut for the video, and automatically come back on after the video. Full volume. Oh, this does have some clucking audio on it. That's nice. And then when this comes to an end, the soundtrack comes back on automatically. And there is also we're starting to run out of time here, so let me show you another way to control that sound. We will go to another slide down here and go up to the triggers. And I think this has been added more recently than the background music itself. Does it do the same for other audio? Like, is there an audio track of a voiceover? No, you're kind of on your own there, but if it's a voiceover, you'd probably want to customize that in terms of when it comes up, when it goes down, work on that by itself. Now here, hide layer, do what we want to adjust a variable. With what? Take a look at these built-in variables, one of which is player background audio. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so what this does is it will lower the volume by a percentage. Let's just make this a 22%. When the timeline, well, we want this to start when the timeline starts on this slide. So we click that, and then let's see. Let's put our audio. for us to know what's going on here, let's put some text in here. Oops, text. Lower audio, okay. And then let's put another slide below that. And then we will try all three of these. So we should hear the audio full bore, and then it will go down to 22% for the slide that we just saw, and select the slides. And then we will see what happens. Full volume down to 22%. And next slide, it's still at 22%, and we would really want it, probably want it to go back up to full volume. So what in the world do we do? Well, let's take a look at this following slide. Put another trigger in here, and we are going to adjust that same variable back to that player background audio. Now we will put a back to 100% when the timeline starts on this slide. So now we will select that, and give this a try. Select the slides. Full volume. 22% volume. Back to full volume. So we're rocking now. Okay, we're running out of time before we're running out of content here, but we will honor our time availability, and I will ask any questions or comments before we hang this up.
Yeah, I got a question about the background music. Can you pause? I'm sorry if you wanted to. Can you pause that during other slides, or how does the user control that? Like if they want to do something different or not have that play or whatever.
Absolutely, regular old trigger, and then select media and select pause.
Gotcha.
And it will give you a pick list of any audio that you have going on. Danny,
and
thanks
that button could go on any slide, and they can just pause it at that point, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Anywhere that you can add a trigger, so it could be added to the slide, added to the layer, any old place that a trigger will go. Cool. Danny, thank you for joining us. I met Danny last night at an ATD, or actually Tuesday night at a ATD live meeting, if you can remember what those were.
Thank you very much.
Frightening. So thank you all for joining us. Any other questions or comments? Oh, yes, Rebecca, what you got?
No, I saw Dan clapping and I wanted to clap too.
It was an applaud.
Excellent.
Holly has her hand raised though.
Oh, okay.
Hi, sorry, I do have a question. I don't even think it was going to be covered. I have a lot of questions about accessibility in Storyline, focus order with layers. Do you know where I might go to find more out? Like I've looked at the e-learning heroes and it's kind of just a mess and all over the place, in my opinion. Do you have any suggestions?
Holly, you have come to the right place, because we have done 2 entire workshops on accessibility. So did you put your email into the chat window? Okay, I will send you the links on those 2, so you can see 2 entire hours of people much more knowledgeable than I talking about accessibility.
Thank you. I need it.
Okay, accessibility is good. We all like to do that. Any other questions? And Alicia, thank you I appreciate seeing you again, even though you're here as an avatar, your name only. Alicia was also at that ATD meeting, so very nice to see her. Now I will share my screen again. Closing slide here. Good night, everybody. Thank you for attending.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, John and Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Very much appreciate you all being here. See you August. Yes, Josh Cavalier, August, AI. Thank you all.